All right, guys, it is time for a party. We've got so much exciting stuff coming your way. You are not prepared for what you're about to hear. We are doing a virtual launch party for this amazing book. If you haven't heard of it, you need to have this book. This book is fabulous. It's by Esther Moreno. Give it up for her. Esther! Woo! It's called The Progressive Children's Ministry Leader. I have read through this book. I read it, shut it, and said, oh my gosh, it's speaking to me. And then I would open it up and dig back into it some more. This book is so good. You need to have it on your shelf. And so we're having a party today. We're so excited. If you are here in the chat, listen, here's what we want you to do. If you're live, we want you to participate in the chat. If you watch later, we're going to be coming back and watching these comments, communicating with you. So even if you don't get to watch it live now, we want you to participate just like you're live. So go ahead and comment today, right now, where you're from. Where are you watching from? Maryland, South Carolina, Alabama, California, another country. Let's party together all over the planet.
Holly, where are we from?
Oh my God.
I'm in Huntsville.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah. So, EC, where are you?
I'm in Chi-Town. That is Chicago, Illinois. I'm in Chicago. I'm not in the surrounding suburbs. I'm in Chicago.
You're in it. Like,
on the suburbs, don't be hating because I lived in the suburbs when I was in Chi-Town.
I grew up. Well, I'm just saying. Some people claim they're in Chicago and they live in Bolingbrook. That's not
we're all out right now. What about you, Sarah? Where are you coming from?
Okay, I think my connection is a little weird, so hopefully this is coming through. Is it coming through okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
okay,
coming through.
because it's a little here. Okay, I am from West Des Moines, Iowa, so not too far from Chicago, Midwest, not as cool as Chicago, but
it's still a great place.
It is.
Type of cool, Sarah. Like, don't sleep on the secret Iowa cool.
Well, we know that we keep sending you all these things about how great Iowa is, and we want you to move here, Esther. And like Des Moines is rated #1 for raising a family and like up and coming. So come on. We just got a lot of cold and snow, so you don't want that.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's been a crazy winter so far. There's probably people right now like eating snow cream while they're partying with us for sure. It's crazy. So listen, for people who don't know, everybody that's on the call, we're going to take just a quick moment and go around and let everyone say anything. And we're going to save Esther for last, the best for last, because girl, it's about you today. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about you and how your passion for children's ministry.
Yeah, so I am the person who in high school was volunteering in teaching Sunday school and running a VBS group in the summer, and then went to college, was involved in camp ministry, and then got married. We started at a church, volunteered in multiple capacities, and then my husband became the children's pastor at the church. So then I was children's pastor's wife, and now we kind of are in this role of coming alongside children's pastors all across the country and talking with them and caring for them and guiding them. So that's me.
I love it. I love it. What about you, EC? I never can pronounce your first name 100% for sure. So
That's all right.
I'll say it. E pluribus.
Yes, E pluribus is 4 syllables. You're exactly right. E pluribus Cornelius is my middle name. I go by EC. I am in Chicago. I was raised in the church, hit age 19. Well, I knew before then, but when I hit 19, I knew there was a call in my life, received that call, and basically ended up telling the pastor's wife that day. She realized that day when everything happened, we had a call to the altar, and for people who felt that they were called to ministry. I was 19 and I walked down, and all of that to say, at the end of that conversation, I said to her, I don't know whether it's in my music or whether it's in ministry preaching, but I know I'm supposed to give it back to the kids. And so they threw me in, and literally the very next year I was thrown into the Awana program, and I was a junior varsity co-leader. And so 7th, 8th graders, 6th, 7th, 8th graders at that time. And I did that for about 7 years. Then I went to a mega church here in Chicago. And I volunteered in children's ministry, just went over there to play keys and ended up being the children's pastor for 12 years. We did ministry. It was rather large. So did that for a while. Then I became a youth pastor. I've been a campus pastor, still have a heart for kids and for people. And so I've done that for years. It started in there was the number 19 in front of the years.
Yeah. young people, Holly, Sarah, they can have gray in their beards and still be like,
yes,
listen,
exactly.
I dye my hair, so I deny any gray. It's gone. Well, listen, my name is Holly. I'm the lead pastor at Abundant Life Church in Maryland, but I was in children's ministry for decades, with an S, not just one. So I have a huge passion for kids, and have just been blessed to walk through so many seasons of life, see the changes in children's ministry over the years, and now I get to advocate on the other side. But now, the woman of the night, tell us a little bit about you, Esther.
Oh my goodness, I will. We have so many other people. We got California in the house, you guys.
Yay.
Neil is in the house. Neil is in the house. Super excited to see all of you guys. You guys tell us where you are from. Put it in the chat. We want to know where you guys are from. But I am from Huntsville, Alabama. And I'm super excited, you guys. I'm super excited about this book, The Progressive Children's Ministry Leader. I am the founder of Child's Heart LLC, and it's all about training leaders, inspiring leaders, and the entire purpose is to help to equip leaders to go forth with a spirit of excellence when it comes to reaching the next generation for Christ. We are all about Christ, so I'm just super excited to be here. I wanted to do, you guys have to tell you, I was so intimidated. I wanted to do a virtual release party. And I'm like, but I need some party people
Yes.
part of this because I didn't want it to be dry or lame. You guys, I'm so excited. I have amazing people on the planet who I know I could call on. I mean, just life. I mean, these are you guys are people I just call on for just life issues. I was harassing EC until like 10 o'clock last night. So
I'm grateful, but yeah, I wasn't drunk here. I like hanging out, and I love the fact that Esther is becoming what I've seen for years. People do here and there, but she's kind of taken this to a new level. And that's what I appreciate, is the fact that it's not just about just me. She is all inclusive, bringing everybody to the table. And so that's what I even like about this book. It is teaching us as leaders, what we should do to bring everybody to the table. So I'm so excited. Yeah, you bugged me last night, but it wasn't a bug, really. It's my honor to be here with you guys. I'm trying to play some celebration music in the back, and it didn't start. So just keep talking.
I have laughed. I have cried with everyone on here. So I'm just super excited that you guys are here. I'm super excited that you guys are watching, and just so incredibly honored to I want to get this book into as many hands as possible, because I believe that God is calling us. It is so easy to go into the ministry environment. We go in, we get excited. Yay, we're going to go in, we're going to be excellent. And then all of a sudden you get settled in the culture of the church, and then you're just maintaining, you know, and I'm so past. I believe that God is calling us past this level of maintaining. Our kids are dealing with real issues. That, I mean, truth is whatever you want it to be now. So it is requiring for us to step up for next level leadership. That means we have to be serious about every facet. We got to be serious about the visions that God is giving us. We have to make sure that we're sensitive. We got to make sure that we're organized, that we're vision driven, that we're not easily offended, that we're spending time with him. So I'm super excited to spend my time with him and you all this evening as we dig into the Progressive Children's Ministry Leader.
Listen, and this book, man, everything that you just said about, your ministry, the ministry that you run, your passion to pour into leaders, it is just dripping through every page of this book, that you want people to be empowered and healthy. I think we skip that in our leadership reading, is that it's more than just checking off being excellent in certain things, but there's a need to be healthy. And that is so just throughout this whole book. So while I was binge watching Netflix during the pandemic, let's talk about that.
I was doing that. No,
you wrote a book.
This is you who was doing
what is that? What is that? What did God do in your heart that you decided, I need to write the Progressive Children's Ministry Leader book? Tell us how that story happened.
Oh my goodness. So guys, this is my third book that I have, but I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite books. It is like one of my most triumphant projects because we did it. We did this during a global pandemic. I mean, come on, you guys, everybody was affected by this pandemic. I don't care how good you think you look on social media.
Right.
I mean, I pride myself in trying to look really nice on social media. But I mean, we were all going through, things were shut down, churches were shut down, the political mudslinging, racial unrest. I mean, let's just be real. So many things were going on, and I just fought. I fought through this because I just listened to God. I knew He was calling me to do this, and I'm just excited. It's done. It didn't happen without a couple of disagreements with my children and
right,
a couple arguments with my husband. but it happened, and I'm just so grateful. I am a firm believer that somebody is winning even through a pandemic. I mean, there are so many situations that are thrown at us in life, but we just have to choose to rise. There's still a God. He is still alive. He is still active. He is still on the throne. He is still moving. He is still looking to bless somebody who is looking for a blessing and walking in faith. And it was such a hard season. I mean, we lost people, COVID-19, everybody. I mean, it is hard to not know or be connected to someone or someone who has lost someone. So I'm just super excited that God gave me the strength to get this out.
Yes. And as we get ready to dive into some of the big points, if you're on here and you're a children's ministry leader, take a breath at this moment. This is what Esther's dream is. When she was vision casting to us, this party, this getting together and laughing and having fun, was that we're going to just take a minute and push all those responsibilities outside for just a few minutes, and we're going to have fun together. We're going to get practical. We're going to hear about this great book and why you need to have it on your shelves, but laugh with us. Laugh with us. If you haven't laughed today, laugh with us. It's going to be great.
Yes. Anyway, wait a second. Holly, no, EC, Sarah, where are your balloons? Okay,
I am sad I didn't put any up.
Well, this is a part of the celebration. We're here to do this celebration with you. And so I didn't have balloons, but what I did was I brought music. So I knew you were going to ask something crazy. So I'm glad you set me up or set us up for that, because I was going to have.
I love it.
That is awesome. I feel like
that's what we're here to do,
Superman, but I'm telling you, I'm partying here with you guys. I may not have the balloons, but I'm so excited, just beyond excited. And when we're talking about us having a party here with other children's pastors that may be online or watching in the future with us, we are surrounded by people on our teams. We're not a one-man show. We know that. And so we have to work to cast a vision to our team and to value our team. And so, Sarah, I know that you dug into several parts of this book. I'm sure if you're like me, you read the whole book more than once. But talk to us maybe just a minute about some things that just ripped your heart about being vision driven for our team and valuing those team members.
Well, I feel like Esther's been reading my mail or something. Like she went from preaching to meddling is what she did. Because first of all, I started it, and you know those things when God's already kind of stirring some things up in your heart, and then you open up the book and you're like, say what? Like, so she did good. Here's the thing. We'll start. Chapter 2 was about being vision driven. And I told Esther, the crazy thing is my husband is the one who is vision driven. He is the gas and I am the brakes. And I know this is an area where God has been like pulling at me and saying, hey, right, you know, your goals. I am not a goal setter. I told this to Esther too. I don't like writing goals. They make me feel constricted, which is the opposite of what it's supposed to do for you. So she took this topic that for me is historically very challenging, and she made it approachable. And you find that in every single chapter. It's so approachable, and you can apply it in your life and in your ministry right away. She makes it so easy to say, okay, this is what I need to do and walk in it. So vision driven and goal setting, it's an important enough topic. And some leaders like myself just don't have that proclivity to be naturally led that way. So that chapter in this book is for people who are like me, but it's also for the leader like my husband who is vision driven, and to be inclined to say, hey, get this fresh perspective. We always need to, you know, even in our strengths, be looking at it through a fresh lens of what we need to do. So your senior leaders, they want you to have goals. You're going to sit down and need to have things written out, your plan, your vision, how it fits for your ministry and for the overall vision of your church. And this has the framework and the template to do that. And y'all need this book. Like every single chapter, you're going to be encouraged, you're going to be inspired. And like I said, you're going to have the framework to be able to implement it in a really winning way for you. So Esther, I'm so proud of you. I know the work that it takes to write a book, and I'm so excited.
What are you talking about? It's easy. I'm just kidding. It's
And you have a line in the book, and I'm going to completely butcher it and say it all wrong. So this is why you got to get this book yourself, friends. Okay. We just talk about the fact that where there's no vision, there's no provision.
Yeah.
Because you can't plan without the vision. You can't purchase without the vision. You can't pray without the vision. I mean, and it's just so practical, so good.
Holly, people don't want to come. They don't believe in your vision if you're all scattered. Like your vision will come when people see that you have a passion and you have an authentic vision. And I know for me, I don't know about for you guys, as soon as I graduated from seminary, I was thrown into a position. I actually didn't learn how to be an excellent leader until I actually followed. It was me actually being a volunteer. I had to take a break for a couple of years and actually serve in a children's ministry so that I can learn from a different lens on how to be a good leader to those who I was over, you know, and it's just so important. And they don't tell you that stuff, you know, how to come with a vision. What is that? How am I supposed to get that? So I'm so in love with that chapter, just because I know anybody who's out there like me who was thrown into a position and now you want to do a good job and you don't even know how to even come up with the vision. What does that mean to listen to God and to allow him to speak to me? So super excited to get that in people's hands.
Yeah, that's awesome. Talk to us, Sarah, about the part of making sure that you value the people on your team, maybe something that you've done or something you read in the book that just jumped out and grabbed your spirit.
Yeah, that is another one. People want to be loved and they want to be cared for. And you know, Esther, the very first line in this chapter, ministry is about people. Unfortunately, we live in a society where people are often reduced to their gifts, resources, and talents. And that happens in the church. mean, I said in the beginning, Josh and I volunteered in our church before he was on staff in a variety of capacity. And I could tell you the number of ways when, as volunteers, we were valued and we were cared for and we were loved and we were invested in as humans and not just what we could do for the ministry area. And then the times where, we were when we oversaw something and then the pastor showed up later that day with a gift card for us because he couldn't be there, but we could. And so that is my heartbeat, is loving people and making sure they're cared for. And I'm trying to find this. Okay. Progressive leaders care about people and speak life to those who are dying. You have to have your pulse on what's going on within the people who are serving in your ministry area, calling them to just check in and not ask them for anything and knowing what's going on so that you're a shepherd. Oh, first and foremost, you're a shepherd. You have to shepherd them and you have to care for and love your sheep. So you can't do that if you don't know what's going on in their life. So know them so that you can rejoice with them when they rejoice and mourn with them when they're mourn and weep with them they weep. You have to be in touch with their personal lives. And I love again how you laid this out so well. And can we just high five that you included these tech hacks for each chapter?
Oh my goodness.
It's so in the society we live in, that is so good and is going to be so helpful for everyone as they're looking through these chapters to have that right there. So good.
Sarah, I'm a firm believer that the future is digital. So we got to know, we can't forget how to love on people. If the digital age, it's here. It's not coming. It's already here. We have to continue to know how to continue to love on people even during that. So for me, I just thought that was so important. I thought if we did not include that, we would be leaving something out of it. So I love those. I love that they actually let me have the little icon there.
Yeah.
Esther, this is such a simple way, guys, that are partying with us live at the virtual release party. When I got my book in the mail from Esther, she had handwritten a note just personal to me. And I'm sure everyone else got one as well. Can I tell you that is so thoughtful and takes 5 seconds. That is Esther modeling for us. What does it mean to value the people on your team? Esther, what's something that has really over the years spoken to your heart? Maybe something that you experienced, so someone valuing you or how you value your team.
Oh my goodness. Can I tell you guys about an event that I went to? I told you I learned the most serving. I just did. That for me, that's how it was. But after I served for a couple of years and then I went into lead, I was like a beast. Like, watch out. Because now I know how people feel on that end when they're not nurtured, when they're not taken care of. Sarah, when you were talking about when they're not valued, I know how that feels. But I remember this one event that I went to, and it was all about valuing our leaders. And it was like they literally laid out a red carpet, just for all of us to come in, hire a professional photographer, just so many things, a professional speaker, to come in to speak to our hearts as leaders. We had this beautiful dinner. Those things were great, but I'll be honest with you, something that will make me feel valued now, it's just a phone call. Some churches are literally not open. I mean, we are still very much dealing with this pandemic. Just having a phone call, we can't forget to value those people who are not in our churches. Maybe your church did open, but you still have people. We have to respect the fact some people are like, I'm not ready. I'm not comfortable. I'm still trying to stay healthy, protect my family. We have to respect that. And we can't forget about them. We still have to value them too and make sure that we're checking on them and just making sure that everyone is included. So it's so important.
I love that. And you know what, Esther, that is so critical and just popped in my spirit when you said that is this book is so scalable. If you're a small ministry, a small church with just a few volunteers, or you're a mega church with multi-site, this book is for you. And these principles are practical, whether you have a small, almost non-existent budget, or you have money to spare to love on your people. This book it's for you. It is a good way to get into your heart some good practical leadership training. Such good stuff. Man, EC, talk to us about What should our teams look like? You know, she Esther in her book, she talked about vision and valuing, but she also got some nuts and bolts, really practical team stuff going. Are you partying with us again?
Yeah, I just have to play a little of that.
Every time
You asked me the
turn the
question.
music on.
You guys see, I knew the perfect people to invite to this.
You're going to be the coolest guest, EC. I'm not okay with that.
No. So your question is centered around like what those teams, how the what team oriented, being team oriented is.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and what our team should look like. When we're putting together, because here's the deal. Here's what we know, right? Like our kids are looking at us as as what they're going to be one day.
Yeah.
And so our teams have to be a reflection of what the vision of who they're going to grow into. So talk to us about that.
So one of the things that immediately, I was talking to some of you might know Gina McClain. Gina McClain and I some years ago. Yeah, we were talking, and I had at that time I had taken a sabbatical from ministry, and she asked me like, EC, what is the one thing? It was myself, Gloria, her, and I think it was Danielle Bell. And we were all sitting around, and she said, like, now that you've like kind of taken this break, what is the one thing that you would do differently had you, if you were given the chance again, which I went back into ministry, but what would you do differently? And I said to her, I would spend more time with my leaders. And she was like, so what does that mean? I was like, I would just focus on the team mentality. I would actually spend more time getting to know them, getting to hang out with them, getting to become more team oriented. Because a lot of times what happens, especially when you are a leader, you may not be you may be the juice lady in your ministry. You just may not be the head of the ministry, but wherever you are, a lot of times we try to go at it on our own. And one of the things I liked about what Esther talked about in chapter 3 was this idea of being team oriented, how to bring everyone together, and not just bringing everyone together, but as you said, that diversity and diversity is from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. And that's a lot of times, I think that's the mistake that we make is this idea of we want outside in diversity. So we look at representation, but what I like what Esther is talking about, what she's talking about is really the idea of inclusion, because she talks about the culture of different diversity and what people bring to the table. But it starts off with the person, the leader. It starts off with the you, knowing who you are. Esther, that point was so freaking amazing. Why was it amazing? Ask me why.
Why?
It was amazing. It's because I was not only a children's pastor, but I was a youth pastor. And a lot of times, especially in youth ministry, we're always talking about how to tell kids or tell youth how to, what you're supposed to be, your purpose and all of that. But rarely do we think about that with adults, the adults that are leading the kids. We think about it with the children. You want them to grow up and be whatever. We think about them having the purposes of God and having the wisdom of God in their life. But rarely do we say to the adult that's leading the kids, hey, know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't lead anyone else to where they need to go and learn who they are. And so that was such an amazing point for me. It started there. And then she went from know who you are to know the people around you, which is the point for me, which was such a great point is, as I said, when I was talking to Gina, that's something that I think a lot of times we miss out on ministry is knowing who's in the game with you. If you're playing your particular role and position and you don't care about anyone around you, you miss out on the value of their input. And so Gina, not Gina, but Esther talks about it. Gina kind of pulled it out of me. But Esther pulls that out as never underestimate the retention of power of relationships. That whole idea of developing those relationships with those people around you, because as you develop the relationship with those around you, you get to know what they bring to the table. I'll go back to the juice lady. There was a person in the ministry that I led some years ago that knew that people, she didn't work with the kids well, but but she was really great at making food and cakes and buying stuff from the store. She knew every sale at Sam's Club. She knew every sale that was happening at Costco. She became the juice lady. She became the food lady. And she was in our ministry specifically. She could tell you, hey, EC, there's a sale on Capri Sun down at the store. And so I'm going to pick up a pack. And it's like, and I remember, I'll never forget this. I bought something for, I think it was a meeting. I think it was some kind of juice for the meeting. And when she walked in, she was like, ain't nobody going to drink that. Ain't nobody gonna drink that. This ain't what people like. She knew what kids like. So the values of those relationships also allows people to use and utilize their gift. And then part 3, which was the third principle, which was then valuing their diversity. Where I work, the company I work for, which is small, big tech company, there is a competency called valuing differences. Yeah. When you value the differences in folks, you value not only their culture and what they look like, but you value who they are and what they bring to the table. It's one thing to bring somebody to the table and they don't have nothing in them, but it's another thing to know what they add to the party.
Yeah.
You know what? Once you know them and then you understand that there was a line she said that was so incredible. Where is it? Just because you're the leader doesn't mean that you have to do everything. As a leader, you're responsible for ensuring things get done, but you don't have to be the person who's doing it. And I thought about that. I was like, that's, again, not only do I value the person, but I know what they can bring to the table. And I realized this, I told the group that I used to lead is, I'm not coming to your hospital room. I'm not praying on your bed. When you die, I'm not going to be at your funeral crying, because if I realize that I didn't take care of you and I put you in a position to get sick because I'm always not giving you the proper instruction, which is another thing she talks about in delegation. I won't go too far. I mean, you got about a book. But at the end of the day, this whole idea of getting people into the areas where they can serve really well. Yeah. And so not only is it knowing them, but it's knowing the value that they bring to the table and then letting them do it. Mm-hmm. You can't do everything. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's so good.
That's a preaching point. That's a preaching point.
Yes.
He's gonna tell the whole book for y'all get.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's more in that chapter, but okay.
What just spoke to your heart in that part of the book? Like, what if you could just pull out one phrase or one highlight from that, being that team portion? What was it?
Diversity
for EC.
Diversity. And I think it was that because she goes on to talk about the cultural aspect. And it's big for me, especially right now, especially through what we've gone through in the last year. Our churches, there are a lot of churches who pride themselves on being multicultural churches, but they put up the Black person when it's Christmas time. Right. You know, they put him on that person, her or him on stage when it's time to show that we're diverse. But otherwise, it may be the staff doesn't show diversity, or it's the opposite. They may have a majority of Black person and they bring some white people to the table just when they want to be in a diverse situation. And that's not true diversity. Diversity is not just valuing that they're in the room. They have to be at the table. And that's what I like that Esther talked about, is bringing people to the table and allowing them to serve and do what they are called to do. Mm-hmm. Diversity.
I have to tell you guys, like, that was, I remember we were almost done with the book and that was missing. Like, that wasn't in here. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like so convicted in my spirit, like, you need to put that in here. That is a cry of my heart for diverse teams. Listen, I mean, even in the recent, things have been going on in the world. When you don't do life with different people, you are not going to understand. You're not going to be empathetic to what other people are going through, what other cultures are experiencing. When you don't do life, those churches that are more successful, that are thriving, they are doing life with people who don't look like them. And it's so important to get those different viewpoints
Can I say this? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Esther, what I appreciated you was giving that understanding of when a child that may not be of the same cultural race as you, when they see you, it starts to develop and dig up some of those unconscious biases that is developed in starting with children. Whether they get it at home or whether they get it on television, you address that. And that's what makes that so important. And so I really am glad that you included that in the book and that God put it on your heart, because that's what's important. It's not just so that they see different faces, but that in the things that can creep in and develop, like unconscious bias, like microaggression, those things that can be deep down inside, those things can start to be dug up and dug out so that a child can develop in a healthy manner.
Yes,
Totally agree.
That's so good.
So good.
Yeah, and just being intentional, guys. And Esther, you can talk about this too, but like I was reading an article and it was talking about how a lot of even the Bibles for kids, if you really flip through them, all the images are white.
Yeah.
Like, surely not. So I literally went to my kids department and got one of the Bibles of the 50 we had that were all the same. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it's my goal as an advocate for diversity in all things to find a curriculum that represents who the body of Christ is, to find Bibles, to get rid of all the those Bibles and get Bibles that have depictions for children that are true. And it's just so critical. And Esther, way to go to be brave, because a lot of people are wanting to have this conversation and we don't know how to start. And we have to be people who are willing to break new ground. You're breaking new ground to be able to have these conversations.
Holly, that was like my most exciting thing about this. But people are looking for the real deal. They're looking for you to be honest. These are issues that people want to talk about, but they're scared to. They don't even know where to start. So I think it's so important that we're real. I'm telling you guys, this book is real. I mean, I'm telling you, every page is ordained by God. God has given me these words. I'm telling you guys, I'm a prayer warrior. I will sit here. I'm probably not the best one. I'm working on my prayer warrior game, but I circled in prayer before I even wrote anything in this book, because I did not want to do it without God. That is why that whole section, that is why God, he was convicting me. He was like, you can't move. Nope, it's not done yet. I'm like, oh, but can I just submit it? No, you're not done yet. And we just did it. So just super, super excited. Listen, we are not here to push something off just for sales. This is something that I truly believe. I feel like this is the all-inclusive guide for children's ministry leaders across the country. So I'm just excited to get it in as many hands as possible.
Yes.
Come on. Okay, hallelujah. I need some more balloons. Where's your music, EC? Come on.
I was already on it.
Let's do a giveaway. We're partying. Actually, let's do a giveaway while we're here in the middle of this. We got the music, we got the dancing. What you got? Let's grab a couple of things. Do you have some gifts, Esther, we can give away?
I do. What are we gonna make people do?
You know what? Since we're doing the Progressive Children's Ministry Leaders book launch, then let's say the first 5 people who say I'm a progressive leader in the chat, you guys are going to win. So the first 5 people who say I'm a progressive leader in the chat is going to get a gift. So Esther, what are we giving away today?
I'm not telling them until 5 people do it.
Oh, y'all better get on. Somebody better do it. 5 people. Come on. Say it.
Come on, y'all.
Say the Progressive Children's Ministry Leader. Say, I'm a progressive ministry leader in the chat right now to get a gift from our fabulous author.
Neil is one of them. Neil,
all right.
So now we have 4 more left.
Come on.
Mary, that's my girl.
All right. If you want a giveaway, put in the chat. I'm a progressive leader. 3 more gifts. Let's do it, Charles. Come on.
I heard Mama. Right?
One more. One more.
Oh, some
Right? Yeah. One more prize left.
Come on, do it, guys. Drop in the chat. You got this.
We gonna celebrate and have a good It's up to you.
Drop in the chat, guys. I'm a progressive leader to win a prize.
One more, you guys.
One more.
I am a progressive. You will get the last prize. Chat, tell them what it is.
It's to you. I'm gonna let you do it.
I see 5. Do you have 5?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, Teresa!
Yeah.
We did it! Teresa, you popped in late. Just amazing earrings. We all love Teresa. Come on, let's do it.
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
Okay, I'm gonna do an extra one because I love Terry too, and she just put it in. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, do it. Do it.
All right, guys. So, what do you win?
Woo!
Moment of truth.
All right. I already have this. All right, guys, look. So I have the Progressive Children's Ministry Leader 2021 calendar. See refrigerator? But I love it because you guys, it has it's an affirmation on
Great.
what you are. I want you to look at this every day.
Yes.
That's great. But it reminds you, I am a progressive leader. What are progressive leaders? Are readers, vision-driven, team-oriented, organizers, spirit-led, all types of amazing things. I'm sending this to you. And also, can I tell them about Annabelle's Light?
Yes. Do it.
Right. So this is my first children's book that I did. Annabelle's Light was so special to me. It is about a light bulb who's this huge light who is discovering who she is, and she just completely rejects what the world is trying to tell her she has to be. She completely busts out because she can only be who she is, right? One big bright light in the world. That is what this is about. I love this because Annabelle is actually named after one of my children who is now living in her life with the Lord Jesus. She has such a bright light. I know her light is even brighter now in heaven. And she was just such an amazing girl who inspired me so much. And it's named after Annabelle. So I am sending both of these to you guys. But here's what you have to do. You have to message me your address so I can send you this amazing prize.
Yay!
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank you for my book.
sharing. Oh, yeah. And listen, guys, honestly, so the next chapter we're going to talk about, if I would buy multiple copies for everyone on my staff, children's pastor or not, for the next chapter that we're talking about. It is that applicable to everyone in ministry. But here's the deal. Oftentimes in ministry, we skip over this. We get in children's ministry. You'll get children's ministry leadership books. You'll get children's ministry encouragement books. And they have all these things that you should do and learn how to do and plan and things. And then you skip over this part of spiritual health. This part of being a person that is not a person of offense. And so I'm not going to tear the whole chapter apart because you're going to have to buy the book. First of all, you're going to have to buy the book. But this is something to party about. You talking about having a book release party. This is going to give you freedom. Prepare yourself. This is what something Esther said in her book that I was like, Lord, we all need to say it again louder, put it in bold. It's not, no matter how good of a leader you are, no matter how long you've been leading, how many books you've read, you can read and pray over this book a million times, and I encourage you to do so. No matter how good you are, at some point, you're going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
Now, if that's not freedom, I don't know what is. It's not freedom that you're going to have to deal with offense. It's freedom that you can't be perfect enough to avoid it. So
Yeah.
learn how to deal with it. Oh, because if you're a person that thinks if I can be good enough, I'll never offend anyone. I'll never let a parent down. I'll never have a team member mad at me. I'll never have someone. If you live under that weight,
Yeah.
you're going to be crushed. But if you can just grab hold of the freedom that she said in that chapter, that just get ready for it, prepare yourself. You're going to offend somebody because they're coming with baggage that you know nothing about. It's not necessarily even a reflection of you.
Yep.
That's about all I'm going to give you because I don't want to ruin it.
But you gotta buy the book.
You gotta buy the book.
Order. So buy the book. I love you guys. I'm telling you, you guys, I get these books and the Lord just gives me a personal message to give each and every person. I have gotten testimonials that I just hang up because it just touched me so much. Just encouraging things to say. I want you guys to get this book from the site. I'm telling you, that chapter, Holly, ministered to me. I mean, Sarah, EC, I mean, come on, we all get offended. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
how do you handle when you're offended? How do you handle when you offend others? You know, you're so right. It is going to happen. What are we going to do? That chapter walks you through what to do when that happens. Don't act like holy rollers if you're on here and act like you don't ever get offended. Right? It's a heavenly cloud.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I love, Esther, is that you not only tell us in that chapter how to practically handle it, but how to shepherd our own heart and protect our heart from bitterness. So you give us that, like, do this, this, and this is what the Bible says, and watch out for this, and look out for this, and be in tune to all of those things practically, and then be in tune to your spirit. And this is the way. And you can read the book to find out how to do all of those things. That chapter alone, man, that just jumped in my spirit. She said, I want you to do the book on offense, but not because you're easily offended. I'm like,
We be offended, y'all. Y'all be offended us all the time.
oh gosh, it's so good, so good. So listen, the last little, not little chapter, the last chapter we're gonna just really quickly touch on, just as a group, and maybe Esther, you want to speak on it, is the fact that progressive leaders are spirit led.
Spirit led. I mean, that's like all by itself. Sarah, I know you. I mean, EC, all you guys, I know. We are not able to do what we do without God. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've grown up in the ministry, and I will confess to you, this is why I was led to put this in this book. I will confess to you that there were times, you know, where I was doing so much ministry, I allowed that to substitute my relationship with God. So all of a sudden, that sensitivity that I had, it was just the spirit. It wasn't God. I couldn't hear him, but it's okay because I plugged in the work of ministry, the duty of ministry into that box. But it's a shallow shell. I mean, it won't give you anything, you know, when you're not spirit led. How we spirit led? This chapter walks you through the reality of we can't do children's ministry if we're not spirit led. We need to retire if that is not a priority to us, which is why I wanted to make that the last chapter in the book. You're right. I'm not going to give it away because I want you to buy the book. I'm telling you, $20 is nothing in exchange. It's for transformation in who we are and in our spirit. You know, just waking us up on what we need to do. Get the book.
Yeah, because I mean, this is not just something you're going to read once and then put it on your shelf.
Yeah.
You're going to come back to, you know, certain chapters when you're walking through a situation, be like, oh, wait, I know Esther talked to me about that, and to pull it down and to, you know, read those bits over and over again and just let it rewash over you and let God teach you again through these truths that are so important.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. But we're going to give Esther the last word in just a few minutes. But why don't we go around and just, if you could, from maybe whether it's something that you have read in the book or something that in your life experience and the book just made it bring to your mind, what is a quick encouragement that you would give our party people today, the people that are watching with us and partying with us and are excited about this amazing book and are going to go right now and click on the link and buy it, what encouragement would you give? EC, let's start with you.
So what I was sitting here just thinking while you were asking that, well, before you asking that, I was thinking one of the things that I think is really important. Have you ever been to one of those children's ministry conferences? And we could probably name them. And the person on the main stage is talking to us about children's ministry. And we already know that because we're doing it. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of stuck in that. And they're trying to even relate that stuff to what we do. But you don't walk away a better leader. You just walk away a better, like with this kind of cheer that you now can run off the sideline and go back. And then you get beat up in the game again. And you're like, crap. Okay, now I got to go back to the side and get some more, cheering going. And so I can get back in the game. Yeah. But then there's always that one that comes occasionally and they speak and they say something to you as a person and as a leader that empowers you. And it's sort of like what you were just saying, Sarah, is that idea of it takes you beyond just this book. It's practical. And I think, Holly, you referred to it too. It's practical, but it's about leadership. It's not just you're going to pick it up as Sarah just said, you're going to pick it up over and over again, but it's not just going to be just to do children's ministry. It's going to be, how can I be a great leader and I happen to serve in children's ministry? It's going to empower you for children's ministry, but it's one of those books that I need these principles in my life, in every other area of my life, in how I serve. I mean, you even talk about that whole idea of partnering people in other areas of the church, learning and they can come serve, even though it might not be their area. But it works in reverse. I think for this book it's developing you to be a leader. Whether you're going to stay in children's ministry for 10 years or for 10 days. It's going to develop you as a leader. And I think that is, for me, what I appreciate about it. And I'm glad that you wrote it. Congratulations, girl.
Thank you.
Buy the book, man. Buy the book. Sarah, what about you?
Well, in addition to what I said, too, I think that as you're leading for churches who, as you're leading your ministry staff who's under you through these principles, and you're using it as a weekly meeting check-in. And she has incredible discussion questions. She has it ready for you to implement. So it's going to affect all, like the ripple effect in the water of how it'll affect you, your ministry. And that just, it blesses everybody who comes in contact with you in your ministry and your leadership everywhere. So
there's a phrase, and you even said it in here. You may not have said it word for word this way, but you had a whole section on reading, and leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. Here's the thing, guys, if you're in the party right now and you know a ton of stuff, I know you do, you're smart people, but you don't know what you don't know. Like you there are things out there that you just haven't been introduced to, you're not aware of. This book has so many practical things. I have read a lot of children's ministry books. This is next level. This is beyond the same things that you read in every single book, the same, do your structure, check off these things. It goes deeper and further, and it's going to change your life, and you don't know what you don't know. So you may be on the party today and say, I've read 20 other books. You haven't read this one.
That's right.
Grab this book.
That's right.
Book. There's stuff in this book. I'm telling you, there's stuff in this book that I've not read in any other leadership book. And you need it. You need to apply it to your life. Esther, man, this is life-changing. It's changed me. Thank you for writing it. I know God gave it to you. Esther, you've got this is your day, man. This is your day.
Yeah, where's the music at, EC?
Yeah, where's the music at? It's your day.
I have a little different. Be optimistic. That's what we're thinking about this.
Optimistic, you guys. If you do not have a copy of the Progressive Children's Ministry Leader, Get your copy today. Go to my
Mhm.
website right now, www.childsheart83.com/books. It is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. It has been scrolling the entire time here. Get this book. Be a blessing. Go forth and this is for all leaders. Whether
Mhm.
you're in children's ministry or not, go forth with the spirit of excellence. If you know that is lacking, I'm telling you, take a chance. You will not be sorry. You guys, this has been such a blast. I'm so excited
Yay.
that you guys hung out. You guys out there. Oh my goodness. Holly, Sarah, EC, you guys in here, just the most amazing.
Oh, we love you
Amazing
so much.
friends out there. I love you all so much. I don't know what you are going through today, but I want you to know that God is greater. I want you to know, I don't know what you're going through in your ministries. I want you to know that God is greater, that we serve an incredibly huge, big God. Do not be afraid to ask him for big requests because he can handle it. Let us start
Amen.
in your leadership today.
Mhm.
And oh my goodness, I don't want the party to end, but it's ending, you guys.
You can win as long as you keep your head to the sky. Be optimistic. Get this book. You can win.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, I love
That's so
it,
good.
and I love
So
you
good.
guys. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.